All right, we're back for part three of how to get your swagger back. If you have been in this place of feeling like stuck, you feel like you've lost your fire, you know you have been him, you've been her, you've been that girl, you've been that guy, you've been that trailblazer, you've been that go-getter, but for whatever reason you feel like you've lost steam. You've been in this space of feeling unfulfilled, jaded, frustrated, especially when it comes to your 9 to 5, right? You're making great money, right? You're making six figures already. So you're living the dream according to the status quo's standards. However, you are not you're feeling like something is missing. If that is you, I want you to stick with me. Hopefully you have seen parts one and part two of how to get your swagger back, or what am I calling it? Get your swagger back, I think, right? Anyway, if you've caught both parts one and part two, do me a favor and drop a two in the chat. If you happen to be catching the replay of this, you're not here with me live, do me a favor and just type replay, and I'll come back through and let you know. Oh, shoot. Hold on one second. There was one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to share this with one other audience. And I didn't do that before I hit go live. But this is the joy of live action. It just is what it is, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. All right, so I did that. All right, so let's get this party started. If you happen to be new to me for whatever reason, I'm grateful that you're here. I don't take it for granted at all. A little bit about me: I'm Danielle, the coach. I'm a certified life and leadership coach, and I've made it my business to help six-figure earners create their corporate exit strategy so that they too can quit their 9 to 5 without regret, similarly to what I've done and what others um, that I'm fortunate enough to be able to call my clients have done as well. I understand what it's like to hit that, what I call the mid career crisis, when you wake up one day and what has been your semblance of security and well being is no longer doing it for you. And after having amassed degrees and spent years, if not decades, of time, and you got student loans, you spent all of these resources to get to this point of where you are now, and all of a sudden you find yourself feeling like something is missing. It's no longer doing it for you anymore. You're feeling unfulfilled, and maybe it's not that you don't love the work that you're doing anymore. Maybe it's you're in a toxic work environment, right? You can't love it because there's these external forces that are clouding opportunity and possibility for you to just show up and do the job and do the work that you love, that you once loved to do. Whatever your reason is, if you're in this space where you've hit this wall and you're questioning everything, like you're wondering like, how on earth did I even get here, and what is the quickest way for me to exit stage left, this series is for you. Because what I know that happens when you're in that space is your confidence at times takes a hit, because as the high achieving go getter trailblazer that you are, you start to wonder like, well, there's something wrong with me. Did something break? Like, what's going on? And so you start to hold a mirror to yourself and pick yourself apart. And while you're doing that, you're also losing steam because you feel like you're not progressing. You feel like you're not advancing. You're not able to get yourself out of this particular space that is no longer comfortable. It's actually extremely uncomfortable, and it's causing you to, it's having an adverse effect in multiple spaces in your life. It doesn't just affect, you know, between the hours of 9 and 5, in air quotes, when you show up on the job, but it's also weighing on your psyche, it's weighing on your mental health, it's affecting you when you're outside of the job because you're dreading going back to the job while you're not on the job. So it's consuming you in a negative way, right? And so all of these things are happening, and it slowly starts to eat away at your swagger. And so, what I want to help you do is get your swagger back, right? Which is why I have parts one and part two. If you haven't caught parts one and part two, listen, wherever you're watching this, whatever platform, parts one and parts two are on that same platform as well. So make sure you go back. You can still rock with me right now, but make sure you go back and catch parts 1 and part 2, because I want you to make sure that you get all four steps, right? So let's dive into part 3, is to adjust your attitude. And so why I say adjust your attitude is because when you find yourself in that slump and you're starting to feel a little bit defeated and unsure of yourself, how you're gonna, you got all these questions that are bubbling up, right? It was once daisies and roses and sunshines and butterflies, and now you're in this space of, you know, you're hating life, right? You're hating the process, you're hating having to face and deal with certain people. You're hating to having to deal with the politics. Um, you hate feeling unfulfilled. You just want to show up and do a great job, right? The job that you know that you can do. You want to love the work that you do. You want to have it. You want to make an impact. You want to get back to that. And as it's weighing on you, right? It's not hard to adopt this "woe is me." Why is this happening to me mentality? So what I want to invite you to do is to chin check that. And so instead of "woe is me," shift it to "why not me?" Right? Why not me? Um, and as you're beginning to think about what you can possibly do to break free from this space of feeling unfulfilled, jaded, what your possibility for next might be. And then your mind, which is designed to keep you safe, automatically goes into protection mode and tells you why you can't and why you shouldn't and why all of that stuff is impossible. Right? As soon as you start to think outside the box, as soon as you start to dream a little, that little voice, whether it's that inner imposter or your inner critic, begins sounding alarms, telling you like, no, you can never. That doesn't make any sense, and giving you all of the reasons why you can't or you shouldn't. Right? I want to invite you to chin check those voices with, well, who better than me? Who better than me? And I know sometimes that can feel uncomfortable for those of us who may be on the more humble side of the personality spectrum, right? You're great. You're a team player. Things just seem to click when you are on the team or when you have something to do with whatever is um, project or initiative that's at hand. But you don't really tout your greatness like that. It's just like a subtle known, right? But when you're in this space and you're starting to feel deflated, you're starting to feel like you're withering away, um and you've lost your swagger, like this is the time when you got to like straighten your back a little bit, um and speak life into yourself and encourage yourself, right? So who better than you? Why can't you? Right? Why not you? Why not you to be going through it, right? Because if you're in this space of feeling uncomfortable, it's very likely that your purpose assignment in that space has been fulfilled, and you've been there a day too long, a moment too long, a season too long, and it's time for you to move on to different pastures. And I won't say greener because that's subjective, because your purpose assignment is your purpose assignment. You got work to do, right? You're here for a reason. So when you're being made to be uncomfortable, when you start feeling uncomfortable in these spaces and it doesn't seem to make sense, a lot of times it's because you've got more work to do in a different way, in a different place. And so instead of fulfilling your last purpose assignment and continuing to um, stay hipped and keen to the fact that, like, hey, I'm here for a purpose. I'm on this earth for a purpose. Okay, what is this assignment? Is the box checked? Okay, and then seeking the next assignment. A lot of times, what we'll do, and I say we, because I'm guilty as well, right? Been there, done that, got several T-shirts. Is we'll dig our heels in and we'll put down roots in spaces and places where we've been placed to do purpose work, right? And it feels comfortable. It feels good. We kind of like take off our cape. We get relaxed, And then all of a sudden, one day we wake up and it's just like, wow, who am I? How did I get here? And what's the quickest way to exit stage left? How do I get myself out of this? And so when you're in that space, a lot of times there's some purpose shifting going on, right? So thinking about it that way and recognizing like, hey, I got work to do, right? And knowing that you've been doing the work. You just got out of alignment and it's time for you to get back into alignment. That can also be a healthy way of shifting your perspective about where you are, why you're there, how you got to this place of like discomfort. And a lot of times, what we'll do is we'll look at the players who stay pissing us off, the people who don't know how to talk to us, the people who don't value us, the people who are underpaying us, people who won't promote us, all these vices that seem to be poking at us, right? And it's making us uncomfortable. They're catalysts. They're catalysts to your breakthrough. So instead of feeling like and playing the victim, I want to invite you to straighten your back a little bit. And I want you to remind yourself of who you are, right? You got to get your swagger back. And the third step in doing that is to adjust your attitude and shifting your perspective on how you are seeing yourself in the midst of this experience and this predicament, and knowing that there is a way out, but it's all dependent on you getting your swagger back first. Your breakthrough is on the other side of you remembering who you are and showing up like that person that is that go-getter, that high achiever, and that trailblazer, right? That's here to make a difference and make an impact wherever they show up in alignment with their purpose. If that served you, drop an attitude in the comments and let me know if that served you. And so then the fourth step is goals. I'll never forget being earlier in my career with the FBI. I found myself complacent, a little jaded. I kind of felt like work was becoming a little bit monotonous. Important, yes. However, something was missing for me, right? Um, I was working at that point in time what I felt was like my dream job that I didn't know was my dream job, that, as fate would in divine happenstance would have it, I was in the right place at the right time for the right opportunity, and the stars aligned, and boom, here I am doing work that I absolutely positively love with people that I absolutely positively love. And it was all good until it wasn't, right? There was a player that came into the game and we bumped heads. And so it started to make a euphoric work experience feel less than. And so, of course, it got me thinking about, oh, well, this is uncomfortable. I don't, I'm not sure what's going on. I need to do something different. I want to do something different. Or what can I do different? Things started to like slowly unravel. And when I got clear with myself, I got still and clear with myself. And what it boiled down to when I realized what happened was I stopped having goals. Because at that point in time, I had, been in school forever. I got my bachelor's degree, gone straight through, got the master's degree, finished the master's degree. I started interning with the FBI. I never left the FBI. And it was, trailblazing, go getting, like hit the ground running, get into the bag, good government job, paying back my scholarship in service chime, right? I'm checking boxes, kicking butt, and taking names while making a name for myself in the organization in a great way. And then I look up one day and it's just like, oh, it doesn't feel so good anymore. Like, what's going on? And so what happened was, after I had checked all of my initial boxes, right, which was to go to school, go get a degree, go to undergrad. In undergrad, the new goal was to go to grad school for free. I did that. Grad school, the goal is to get a federal job, get a job with the federal government, right? I did that. So I finally get the job with the federal government, and it's just like, whoo, okay, now I can breathe easy. I've checked all the boxes. And so after going all the way, matriculating all the way through graduate school with no gaps. I had reached a point where it's just like, I don't have to worry about school anymore. I'm making some money. I'm in the big city, 20 something. I'm living my best life. Like, I'm just going to live my best life. I took my foot off the gas. I took my foot off the gas. And I might even go out on a limb and say, I probably parked the car. Let's put it that way, right? I probably parked the car. And so me parking the car did me a disservice because I wasn't going anywhere except for where people in leadership in my organization wanted me to go. I became like a leaf blowing in the wind, going wherever the wind took me. I wasn't rooted in anything anymore. I had checked all of my boxes and I was good. And I was just like, okay, sure, it's a job. I'll do this, I'll do that. And I looked up and I was in this space where I'm questioning, like, how did I get here? Like, it's not so bad, but like, how did I get here? Is this what I wanted for myself? Do I even know what I wanted for myself on this side of like getting the job? Like, what do I want to do with this? And so one of my most profound epiphanies as a career professional was recognizing how I had parked the car and I stopped having goals. I went from someone who was so goal oriented and so driven and goal directed to not having any goals because I had checked all the big boxes that I had created for myself up until then, and I hadn't created any more on the other side of getting that federal job. And so the fourth step in getting your swagger back is to get clear on what your goals are. Either it's a goal or what your new goals are, or maybe they're goals that you've put on the shelf that it's time to dust those things off, like because you can have it in this lifetime. I used to be notorious for talking about what I would do in my next life. And as life would have it, I've been put in positions where I didn't have to wait till my next lifetime. Right? I'm just like, oh, I guess I can do that now. I got time. I'm not committed to this thing in the same way that I thought I was going to be when I first ventured into it. So what I want to do something else, or what can I do? Or what about that thing or those things that I have for whatever reason decided that I can only do in my next lifetime because for some reason it's too late, right? It's never too late. You still got life in you. It's never too late. It might take some time and it might take some dedication, but it's never too late. So that being said, the fourth step in getting your swagger back is get clear about your goals. And as a high achiever, as a go-getter, as a trailblazer, one thing that I know is when you know where you're going, you know what it is that you're striving for and looking to achieve and accomplish, or the box that you're looking to check, it's go time, right? I dare somebody get in your way. I dare somebody get in your way. Like I say, if you've listened to me for any stretch of time, when my clients are working with me, people have options. People have three options. They can get out of the way, they can get on board, or they can get bulldozed. Because my people are going places, whether other people like it or are on board or not, right? It's a non-negotiable. And so that's not to say that it won't be without challenge. That's not to say that it won't that it'll always be easy. But what it is saying is that when you have that clarity about where the train is going, it's only a matter of time before you get it and made the conscious decision that we're putting this thing in motion. It's only a matter of time for my people, those that are divinely assigned to me, that I'm here to serve and usher through your breakthrough and the transformation that your heart desires, helping you to navigate this mid-career crisis. It's only a matter of time once you're clear about where it is that you want to go. And I know that it could take some work to get clear about where you want to go, because you never thought that you would be in this position to be considering doing something other than what you're doing. You've never thought that you'd be in a position considering like not retiring in the traditional sense from your place of employment. I know it's a different pill to swallow, right? But it's a reality that can become yours as well if that is what you are called and purposed to do, and if it's a decision that you choose to make. And so I'm here to support you and help you to do that, right? And so what I want to also highlight, now that this is part 3 of the Get Your Swagger Back series, is that the 4 steps spell swag. So if you missed steps 1 and steps 2, Make sure you go back and watch parts 1 and part 2 so you can get the S and the W. But I just gave you the A and the G here in part 3. And again, it's to adjust your attitude, right? And how you're thinking and framing this situation and this discomfort that you're currently feeling and experiencing. And then the G is get clear about your goals. Like, what is the goal? What is the target? Where are we going? And then you can identify what help and what support you need to do that. And so if you're in a space where you don't even have the clarity, listen, they don't call me the catalyst of clarity for anything. Like, we need to talk. If you are have the clarity about where you want to go, but then maybe you don't have the confidence and the courage, like something is keeping you in this space of doing like that double Dutch rock, right? But never jumping in because you're scared of getting hit in the face with the ropes. I get it. It's okay. There's no judgment. It happens. And quite frankly, if that fear doesn't come up, you might be a little different. The fear is normal. And so I want to validate you in saying that. Like, the fear doesn't mean that you shouldn't. And I'm not saying that you should. You get to choose. However, it's worth getting the support that you need. If you know that you know that you know, the only thing keeping you from the breakthrough and the freedom and the purpose, your next purpose assignment is fear, like, we should talk. And so I want to invite you to book a complimentary strategy session with me. Go to www.daniellethecoach.com/apply. I believe it's in the description wherever you may be watching this. Make sure you put the www. So it's www.daniellethecoach.com/apply. Book a complimentary strategy session, and we'll see what next might look like for you with us partnering together to get you unstuck, in motion, clear, and confidently taking action and putting some motion behind this big, grand, amazing, scary vision that's been impressed upon your heart, right? You don't have to navigate this thing alone, which is why I am here. Again, if you caught this on the replay, do me a favor and type replay. Drop a comment and say replay so that I know that you caught this. And I will come back through and show you some love. If you know that you have been in the space of desiring or seeking support, maybe you've been looking for a life coach, maybe you've been looking for a leadership coach, maybe you've been looking for a performance coach, let's talk, right? Let's talk. Let's see what is in store for you. And also, let's get you in a position of no longer having to carry the weight of defying the status quo by yourself. It's not always easy, and it's not always understood by others who don't have the dream or the vision, the dreams and the visions that have been imparted and impressed into your heart that you just can't shake. And so, coming from one go-getter and trailblazer to another, I understand I am you, which is why I do the work that I do. I'm here on purpose to do this, and I have created a space to serve you and to support you when you're ready. And so, if you know that's you, book your call, book your complimentary strategy session, and let's talk it out, right? And what we'll do is I'll see what you got going on. We'll get you some on-the-spot strategy. And then if I believe that we're a good fit to work together, I'll make an invitation. I may make an invitation for us to work together in a deeper, longer, richer capacity, to make sure that you not only stay true to yourself and accountable to you and your dreams, but that you also stay in motion and that you're supported as you start to shift some things, because that can be a little unsettling and uncomfortable, even though you're doing it anyway, right? My thing is that you don't have to do it by yourself. I'm here for you. Thank you so much for rocking with me for this series on Get Your Swagger Back. I've enjoyed it. If something resonated with you, please let me know. Like, talk back to me. I love the feedback. It helps me to help you and to create more content that I believe will serve you, whether it's, you're driving in a car, you got some idle time, you just happen to stop your scroll or with your platform of choice, whatever it is, it helps me help you. So I appreciate the feedback. Don't forget to let me know if you caught the replay, drop replay, and I'll see you on the next one.